The purpose of this video is to describe the Tekla import process in Raptor. To begin, you must have Tekla open on the computer you are using, and Tekla must have been open before Raptor. You don't need to have the Tekla model open before you open Raptor, but you must have Tekla open first. Once Tekla and Raptor are both open and you have the model open, you can begin the import process. As you can see, I have Tekla and a Tekla model open, and I have Raptor open. There are three ways to get to the Tekla import window in Raptor. You can choose the Tekla import icon on the toolbar, or you can go to File, then Import, and choose Import from Tekla. Or lastly, you can use the Control-I keystroke combination. Once you have the Tekla import window open, you can start selecting the settings you want to use. To begin with, on the Import Settings tab, we have Shapes. Here, you can choose which shapes you want to import. If you wanted to, you could select an entire model in Tekla, and then limit which types of shapes are imported simply by using these checkboxes. Next, we can choose whether to import copes and/or scribes or not. Here, we can force the longest angle leg to be the web. If you're importing odd-legged angles, you can choose to have them all come in with the longest leg being the web surface. In the Scribes section, the first choice is Import Welded Connections. This tells Raptor to do outline scribes for all pieces that are welded to the member you are importing. Scribe Connection Name. Check this if you want to add the name of the pieces that are welded to the member. Connection Bolt Selection will give you scribe lines for center lines of bolt holes in the attaching pieces. Secondary plate bolt lines will scribe secondary plate bolt lines on edges of plates. Import field welds. If you want to import the field welds of the parts, you can check this box. Scribe Unsupported Shape Types allows you to import scribes of shapes that are not supported by Raptor, such as pipe or circular hollow sections. Maximum number of bolt lines. Once you have selected connection bolts, here, this will limit the number of bolt lines that are scribed per attaching piece. For instance, if a piece had 8 holes in it, this would limit it to just 2 bolt lines. The connection letter size defines the size of the scribe connection name. So if this is checked, this is controlling what size those connection letters will be. Maximum connection distance. In Tekla, any two objects can be welded together. Raptor will only include scribes for pieces that are within the specified distance from the surface of the member you are importing. This value must be greater than 0. Scribe two faces for angled connections adds an additional scribe for defining the angle of a non-perpendicular plate. The error box will show you any errors Raptor encounters during the import process. By selecting the error and clicking the Select Parts button, it will locate the part in the Tekla model. Progress Report. As the import process is taking place, you will see status messages for the process in this box. The Go button starts the import process. Do not do this until all settings have been properly set. Once it's selected, it will also become a Cancel button. Next, we go to the DSTV Import tab. By setting these options on this tab, you can force Tekla to create DSTV files for the same files you are importing from Tekla. The NC file settings in Raptor, right here, need to match the NC file settings in Tekla. Next, we'll go to the Advanced tab. On the Advanced tab, the first thing we have is maximum angle of secondary face. This refers back to the scribe 2 faces for angled connections. When a face of the attaching piece is greater than 75 degrees, it will not be scribed. Connection bolt crosses. If you want your bolt lines to have a cross line on them, you can check this box. Bolt line length. For your bolt lines, you can define the length of those lines right here. Typically, it will be a dimension plus 100% of the material thickness, so that it doesn't matter what the thickness of the plate that's being attached is, the bolt line will always stick out from the edges of the plate, so it can be seen when the plate's in place. Tertiary part scribes. A tertiary part is a part that is attached to a piece that's being attached to the member. Raptor can also scribe those part lines as well, those bolt lines as well. And here we're controlling the length of those lines, once again, just like we did the bolt line length. If you have studs welded on the member, you can decide here how to handle that, whether to do nothing with them, create holes, or create pop marks. The base weld scribe position allows Raptor to scribe the piece mark of the base plate on columns. If you want, you can give it a delta dimension, which is a set dimension from the end of the member, or you can give it a percentage of the overall length from the start, from the beginning or the base of the column. Finally, on this tab, we have column referencing. By checking this, Raptor will reference the columns for you. The last tab we have is the Weld tab. On the Weld tab, you can decide to scribe the weld information. This weld information is coming from the Tekla model, and the information in the model must be properly detailed. Each weld has to be detailed exactly correctly, or of course the information that will be imported will be wrong. Here you can control what information comes in and how it is listed. Okay, now we'll go back to the Import Settings tab, and we'll go to Tekla. In the Tekla model, we simply need to select the parts that we want to import. I'm going to select these items right here. Then I'm going to go back to my Tekla import window and hit the Go button. I'm going to close the window, and here you will see the parts that were imported from the model. This concludes the Tekla import instruction.